Welcome, Lee here from Play Guitar Academy. Want to make your blues solos stand out? The secret is targeting chord tones. But unless you're intentional with your guitar practice, this doesn't just happen all by itself. Today I'm going to give you 5 licks. These are going to help you master chord tone targeting and help you get intentional with your guitar practice. But before we get started, don't forget to grab my free email course. It's called Blues Solo Breakthrough. It's 6 steps to confident, killer solos. It's packed with tips, strategies to help you play with confidence and make every note count. Okay, let's get started. So we're targeting chord tones. What does that mean? What it means is when you play in the blues, you might be playing a minor pentatonic scale or something like that. And this happens to have certain notes in it. And the chord you might be playing might be an A7, and that has certain notes in it. When they match, something very strong happens. So if you're just playing notes randomly, hoping that they work out for the best, here's one way you could stop hoping. Get to know what notes are in your chords and see if you can aim for them. So today we're in the key of A, blues. We have an A7, a D7, and an E7 that we're playing in here. And let's go ahead and get started with lick number 1. In lick number 1, we're going to be playing mostly minor pentatonic in pattern 1, but we're going to target the root notes of the chord. So we have 2 chords we're playing over. We start with A7, then we go to a quick D7, and back to an A7. Let's take a look here. So we're going to start at the 7th fret on the G string with the full bend. That's a D going up to E. That's the 4th going up to the 5th. And then we're going to play that E. This is the 5th fret on the B string, and then up to the root note, the A, on the top string, on the high E string. Very typical blues lick, but it ends on the root note of the A7 chord that we're playing over. Next, we're going to play a little kind of a quarter step bend up high. We're going to do the 8th fret on the high E string and the 7th fret on the B string and bend them up at the same time. Just a quarter step, not much at all, just enough to give a little tension. And back to 2 5s, 5 on the high E and 5 on the B. And we repeat that. So far, very cool sound, and it's all centered around this A note. We're resolving to that each time. Next, we have 8th fret on the G string. Now, this isn't in the minor pentatonic. This is the blue note. This is from the minor blues scale. And it's resolving up. We've talked about this before. The blue note can resolve either down or up. Sounds great resolving up. That's the flat 5 going up to the 5. But then we end 1/2 step below the flat 5 on the D note. This is the 4. So all the way up to now, this is our resolving note. And this D happens right on beat 1 where the D7 chord comes in. So our root note is being targeted again. Very easy to do that. Now we have one last little bit of a phrase. This is all minor pentatonic. 7th fret. This is an E note on the A string. Then we're going to the flat 7. This is the 5th fret. That's a G to the A. The 7th fret on the D string. Then we go to the G string, 5th fret. And then back to the 7th fret on the D string. There's our A again, right on beat 1, right when the A chord comes back. Not only are we going to be targeting chord tones in different ways with these licks, these also go through a whole 12-bar blues. So we're just moving on to the next set of chords in the 12-bar blues. This is an A7, and then it goes to another D7 here. So it's measure 4 to 5. And so we're going to have a little tension and release. On the A7 chord, we're going to work our way down the minor pentatonic scale with some added notes thrown in and end up on the 3rd of the next chord. D7, what's the 3rd of the D7? It's an F sharp. This is the 4th fret on the D string. So I'm going to try and end up there. Not only am I going to do that, I'm also going to start using thirds in a different way. Over an A7 chord, a C going to C sharp, the minor third going to the major third always sounds very nice. So I'm going to incorporate that as I walk down this pattern. So up in pattern 2 of the minor pentatonic, we're going to start on the 10th fret on the high E string, go to the 8th fret, which is our C. That's our minor third, and we're going to go up 1 to the major third. That works nice because our chord has a major third in it. Now we're going to go to the 10th fret on the B string. That's our root note. To the 8th fret, there's our flat 7th. To the 9th fret, that's our 5th. Flat 5, that's the 8th fret on the G string. That's our blue note. 7, that's 7 on the G. That is our 4th. The minor third again. So here we are at a C note, this time on the G string at the 5th fret. We're going to try our minor third to major third trick again. We're going to go up to the 6th fret. That's a C sharp. Minor third to major third to the root of the chord that we're playing, A7, but we're getting very close to this D7. Let's set it up. Root, flat 7. This is a G, and it happens to be 1/2 step away from the third of our next chord, D7. Remember, we talked about that in the beginning. That's what we were targeting all along. In lick number 3, we're going to be doing more chord tone targeting, but this time we're going to target a different note in the chord. We're going to target the 5th. So we have a D7 chord. So the 5th of that chord is an A note, and we have an A7 chord, and the 5th of that chord is an E note. So I'm going to make a big deal about those notes while the chords are playing. We're still going to be in A minor pentatonic. We're going to be in pattern 3 here. So we're going to use these notes, pattern 3. We're going to start at the 12th fret on the G string. That's a G. That's our flat 7th. And we're going to bend up to an A note. That A happens to be the 5th of the D7 chord, which is playing at the time. Now we're going to go to the minor third in A minor pentatonic, and then back to the A. So keep going to that A over the D chord. And now we're going to do that bend again, same as in the beginning, 12 on G, full bend to the A, which is the 10th fret, to the C, which is the 13th fret. But now we're going to end this phrase differently. We're going to go up to the high E string on the 10th fret. That's a D note. Back to the C note, back to the D note, and then we're going to finish on the 12th fret of the high E string on the same beat that our A chord's coming in. This is our 5th of the A chord. So we targeted the A note over the D7 chord, and then we hit that E right in time to target it for the A chord. So in lick number 4, we're going to be targeting a different note of these chords. These are 7th chords. We have a root, a third, a 5th, and in this instance, a flat 7. And in this lick, we have an A7 chord for the first measure, then an E7 for the second, and a D7 for the third. Instead of staying in A minor pentatonic for the whole thing, I want to change it up a little bit. I'm going to change the scale for the E7 chord and the D7 chord to match them perfectly, because there's something I want to do. I want to target that flat 7th. So I'll talk about it when we get there. Let's start with the A7. So A7 here, we're going up the A minor pentatonic scale, pattern 4, up by the 12th fret. Start at 14th fret on the G. Then we're going to go up to the C note. That's our A. We're going to go up to the C note on the 13th fret on the B. The D note. So root, third, 4th. This is the 15th fret on the D. All the way up to the 5th, the high E. That's the 12th fret. And we're going to go back down the way we came. 15, 13, and then back to the root note, 14. So that's pretty easy. Very typical blues lick. But now when we get to the E7th chord, I want to target the dominant 7th for this chord. That's going to be a D note, 2 frets below the root of the chord. So E, D sharp to D. That's the note I want to target. And in the Mixolydian mode, which is just basically the major scale with a flat 7th, we have a major 6th that's a half step away from the flat 7th. It's an easy half step bend. That's why I'm going to use it. So I'm going to go to the 14th fret on the B string. That's a C sharp. That's not in minor pentatonic, but it is in the chord that we're playing because we have an A major chord. So we're going to bend it up a half step to the D. That's our flat 7, back to the 6th, and then down to the 12th fret. That's our 5th. And then back to the major 6. So it gives us a little bit of a new color to here. We're targeting that chord perfectly. We're not just in A minor pentatonic all the time now. And we're really working our way between that flat 7th and the 5th. Now we go to the D7th chord. I'm going to do the same thing. This time, I'm just going to go 2 frets back. So I'm going to go to the 12th fret now. That's a B note, and I bend that up a half step. That goes to a C. That's the flat 7th of a D7 chord. So it's like the 6th of this chord going up to the flat 7th. And then we go down to the 5th of it, an A. And then I'm going to go to the F sharp, which is the 3rd of D7. You hear how this targets those 2 chords. I'll play it. You can hear the chords changing without them even being there. We're targeting these chord tones. So here we go with last lick, number 5. We are at the turnaround, the last 2 measures of the song. And I'm going to target the roots and the flat 7ths here. So let's start on the 14th fret of the G string. That's our A. And then we go up an octave. So a lot of root notes over that A7. Now we go back to the A. It's a pedal tone, but when we come back up, we go to the 15th fret of the high E string. That is the flat 7th. Put all those together, we're targeting the roots and the flat 7th. Now we're going to set ourselves up for this very last chord of the progression that's in E7. This is the little tag at the end that tells us that the blues progression is over. I'm going to go back to the top again. I'm going to go to the major 3rd in A, which is the 18th fret on the G string, to the 17th fret on the B, which is our E, and then the 19th fret, that's our major 6th that we were talking about before, 19th fret on the B, and then back to the E note, and that comes in right on the beat where the E7th comes in. Back to the 18th fret, the C sharp, and then I'm going to bend the 19th fret a full step. That's going to give us a very B.B. King type sound and finish out our song very nicely. Hey, thank you for playing along today, and thanks to all of our Academy members over at Play Guitar Academy who are tearing into the tab and guitar profiles from this lesson right now. Don't forget to download my free soloing course. It's Blues Solo Breakthrough. It's going to make all of this easier for you, and as always, let me know what you think in the comments. Have a great practice. I'll see you in the next video.